Hi, everybody. It is an absolutely beautiful day. It is overcast, but I don't know. I like it. It's enjoyable for me. A quick visual descriptor before we get going. I have long brown hair, glasses, a blue shirt, coffee mug in hand. I'm wearing a silver bracelet. We have some beautiful trees behind us. And we are in the public park space near the river. Get your coffee, tea, whatever it may be, whatever gets your day going. A little sip of coffee. It makes my morning. I mean, like, really nice. Just smile. Just smile. Now, let's talk for a minute about, well, a phrase and a concept. Here's a common phrase that I'm sure you've heard at least once in your life. Practice makes perfect. What does that mean? I mean, I seriously am curious of what that means, because how do you get to perfect? What is perfect? Who decides what perfection is? I mean, if we're going by our own standards, what's perfect right now won't be perfect next year if we continue to practice. In fact, perfect is a constantly moving goalpost. And that brings up another interesting thought. If perfect is a constantly moving goalpost, if with our practice and our continued efforts, we're constantly perfecting, well, then can you ever reach perfect? The big problem with perfect is just that. The birds agree. The birds with their morning songs and calls. Can you ever be perfect at anything? And on that note, should you even worry about it? Should you ever put yourself under that pressure? If perfect is a constantly moving goalpost, if perfection is changing as we continue to grow in our skill set, if you can get more perfect than you are now, what is perfection? Should that word even apply to this concept? Should improving our skills necessarily have to lead to some perfection, some perfect state of what we can do? I'd say no. There's a number of reasons. I mean, first and foremost, there's pressure with perfect. And we definitely don't need pressure. Thank you over there on Twitch. That constantly motivating force can often fill us with anxiety. It can fill us with fears. It can give us this sense of dread. The next thing you know, you're doubting yourself. You're saying, I'm not good enough. And as soon as you believe you're not good enough, you're clearly not going to be able to achieve that perfection that you think your practice is going to provide. We're gonna morning over there on Twitch, and we're just gonna go with round for innumerable reasons. But the continuation of this concept, this pushing and striving and growing and desire, we do want to be better. And as we want to improve, we should, of course, remove that whole worry, that whole fear, because that's what we're instilling in ourselves. And I believe that the term practice makes perfect. Let's get rid of it. Let's junk it. What's what's it doing for us? What's it providing other than a sense that perfect is something you can achieve? Perfect is most certainly not something that anyone's going to achieve. Even when you talk about perfection in very clinical terms, the concept of becoming perfect in an even in an object is, well, it's impossible. You can't ever reach it. You can get really close, but you can't ever reach it. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. Is there such a thing as a perfect diamond? I argue no. Is there such a thing as the perfect song? Well, that's so subjective, depending on the individual listening, that, well, no. Will you ever make the perfect picture? Will you ever write the perfect story? Will you ever have a perfect job? And you can extend this concept, this thinking, this line of thought to so many other things. So perhaps, instead of striving for that ever moving goalpost, instead of reaching for perfection, maybe, just maybe, we should consider that with practice comes simply a better us, a better set of skills. You can always improve. And maybe that's truly what we need to be instilling. You can always get better. Become a better version of yourself. Your work can always become better. Your relationships can always improve. Songs will come and go. And what makes you happy today might not in 10 years. Jobs can go up and down. And even with our dreams change and grow and develop over time. So even if you achieve your dream, you've simply done that. You've achieved your dream. And I'm not downplaying that concept at all. No, I'm simply stating that that leaves room for more growth. If for any reason whatsoever you find yourself feeling doubtful, or you find yourself overwhelmed, or the pressures of expectations and life, they're just weighing down, then it might be our approach. There can be plenty of external factors that can leave us in this state of apprehension or self doubt, but there's a whole mountain of internal factors. So when those things come, remind yourself of what came before. Looking backward at your own history, reminding yourself of your own growth, your own improvement, your own life changes, looking at how it occurred throughout your entire life, and then looking at your colleagues, your friends, your partner, other people in your life, and realizing how much changes, how much goes up. I think it'll help a great deal. But most certainly, and I'm going to say it at least one last time, don't ever expect that you have to fulfill some concept of perfect, because therein we all fall short. But better, happier, more skillful, more complete, filled with greater joy. I mean, these are all things that we can accomplish. Less stress, less fear, less apprehension, less doubt, less worry. These are things that we can achieve. But go ahead, practice. Practice makes a better you. Practice makes a better result. Practice leads to better avenues. Practice leads to more ease. It leads to so many things. And each and every one of them is most certainly going to brighten your day. Unless you're talking about this overcast sky, in which case we're going to have to wait for the sun, the clouds to part, you know. Overcast skies, those aren't so bad either. There's still sunlight behind them, right above those clouds. Get yourself an extra cup of coffee, tea, whatever it may be, whatever makes your day wonderful. And that's a big thing too. Focus on what's good for you. There's nothing selfish about doing something that improves your own life. As long as you're not doing it directly to harm someone else. Oh, this is really good coffee right now. I'm going to have to get more coffee after I am done with this. Now, I just want to talk to you for a moment. There's going to be a link somewhere nearby for the Art of Feeling and Abstract Art Workshop. Now, this art workshop is open to everyone, whether you've never done any art whatsoever or whether you've been a professional artist for many years. Everybody is welcome. The Art of Feeling is held every third Saturday of the month. It is a virtual art workshop. You can join us. You can sign up on Eventbrite. And when you join us, you're going to get a whole lot of benefit and a whole lot of fun. And you're going to be able to spend a nice block of time learning how to express inner feelings as color, as shape, as line, as an explosion of paint on a canvas. And the reason it's open to everyone is because abstract art is fluidity. It's a feeling, it's an action, it's an experience. What you produce doesn't have to conform to anyone else's concepts of art, color, feeling, or representation of how those things should be done. And for the Art of Feeling, all you need is something to paint with, something to paint on, and some paint. There is, of course, on the Eventbrite listing a recommended supplies list, as well as a link to my Amazon storefront where you can go ahead and you can pick up some budget supplies that I have put up in a list. But don't worry about any of that, because as long as, again, you have some brushes, you have paper, canvas, you have some paint, you're good to go. Stop by a local art store or dollar store around you or something, just pick up some things for the day. But if you already have some supplies, bring those. The great thing is, whether or not you actually have the brushes I recommend or anything that I specifically mention, it's fine if you don't have it, because there's tons of different ways that if I show you a technique that you can use the brushes you do have, the colors or the paper or the canvas you do have, and you can execute those things. And of course, since it's a virtual event, it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Whether or not you want the camera on or off, you want to actually have your microphone on or off, interact, that is up to you. You can, of course, leave your microphone and your camera off the entire time and simply follow along. But the next one is on August 20th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'd be so happy to see all of you there. But I am out of here for now. So you take care, be excellent. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.